Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today you're going to be cooking with me and we're going to be making these delicious cinnamon rolls. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like button and let's get into the video. So I'm going to tell you guys it was a little hard to record and bake at the same time, so my dad kind of took over most of it towards the end, but I'm going to do the best that I can. So here's our ingredients. We have some instant dry milk, we got baking powder, cinnamon, regular flour, brown sugar, a rolling pin, got some yeast, some water to mix with the yeast, eggs, bowls, measuring cups, and a blender. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure our flour and our sugar and dry milk into a bowl. These measurements we did by ounces instead of cups because that's just what the recipe had called for. So we blended those three with some butter, and while that was blending we added the yeast in the water just so it can get a little mixture because you don't want them to be mixed right into the bowl all together. So next we started adding the flour a little bit by little bit to the earlier mixture we had with the eggs, butter, etc. And then we added in the yeast and we're going to start to mix that all together just until it gets like this thick kind of mixture. You want the mixture to kind of be sticking together in a ball, and you'll notice like towards the end of the bowl it won't be sticking as much to the side of it. So while that was blending, I sprayed some oil into the bowl just so that the yeast wouldn't stick into it. And we're going to put the yeast into the bowl and let it rise for about an hour.
Several days later.
So after that took forever, you want to spread some flour into your countertop, and my dad had started to roll out all the dough that we had just previously had rising. So you just want to roll it out, have some flour on the bottom and top so that the dough doesn't stick next to each other. And while that's happening, you want to melt some butter so we can pour it on top of the dough. And it doesn't matter how much, you just want it to be nice, but you don't want it to be too liquidy on top of the dough. So as we're spraying this down, you want to make sure you spread it out. If you have a brush, that would be good. You can use that too. And then you want to mix together some cinnamon, sugar, brown sugar, and nutmeg so we can sprinkle it on. And that's going to be inside the middle of our cinnamon buns. So now we're just adding everything in, starting off with the brown sugar inside the cinnamon buns. So it's going to come out really clumpy. So you just have to spread it out. You can use your hands. Don't be afraid to get a little dirty with it. And then we're going to take some cinnamon, going to sprinkle that on. So after you got the cinnamon, you're going to add some nutmeg. I'm going to add some ginger. And you can add a little bit of regular sugar too, but you don't really have to. So after we did that, we sprinkled our raisins. We had our raisins soaking in some rum just to give it a little extra flavor in it. And then once you finish adding everything that you want on the inside of it, it's time to roll it up. So our cinnamon rolls were really long. So you didn't have to make this much, but this is how much our dough have risen up to. Rise up? Yeah. So just take the time to roll it. Make sure that underneath when you're rolling it's enough flour because you do not want the dough to start sticking to each other. As you can see, my dad has taken full control over these cinnamon buns, and I'm just glad that I got him to help me out because I would have been struggling trying to do this. But as you can see, he's just finishing up rolling all the cinnamon rolls. And after you do this, it's time to chop them up and put them into some pans. So we had these aluminum pans from when we had Danishes from the store. So we fit about 10 to 12 and we had 3 different pans. So it was a lot of cinnamon buns. But we had a little extra dough left over and it wasn't enough pans. So we just decided to turn 3 of them into some pretzels, which was really good. So we just got some more melted butter just to put on top while the pretzels bake. We didn't do this to the cinnamon buns, but what we're doing right now is we have the 3 pans of the cinnamon buns and we're going to put them in the oven, but the oven's not on. Instead, we want it to rise, but at a warmer temperature, so we just put some boiling hot water and it's going to sit at the bottom of the oven just to give it like the steam and the warmness that the yeast would need in order to help the cinnamon rise a little bit longer. So we set them in for about an hour, and let's go make some icing. So in our icing, all we did was add powdered sugar, vanilla, a little bit of milk, and some cream cheese, and it came out to like this nice thick sweet consistency. So while we was finished that and the cinnamons had finished rising, we put them in the oven, baked them, and this is our final product. Now, don't these just look delicious? Don't mind our pretzels, they're a little fluffy though, but these cinnamon rolls, oh my gosh. So we let them cool just a little bit, but they were still kind of hot before we put the icing on, just so the icing kind of seep through in like the crevices of them. So we just spread on, did about 2 to 3 layers on them, and let me tell you, these cinnamon rolls were great. So guys, this is the end of my video. I just wanted to share with you guys how we made these nice cinnamon rolls. The pretzels weren't half bad either, but you could just see the icing just oozing off, the steam just rising when you take a bite of it. Oh my gosh, these are one of the best cinnamon rolls I've ever had. But thanks for watching this video. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video.